Welcome to my DaVinci Resolve course. First, I just want to say thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to teach you and for believing in me. Because at the end of the day, I wouldn't be able to do what I do if it wasn't for you and your support. So thank you. This is a course I've been working on for a very long time now, and it feels so good to me to finally be able to put this out into the world. Now, before we dive into any of the actual lessons, I wanted to first start off with a bit of an introduction as to how and why I switched over to DaVinci Resolve after using Adobe for over a decade. So as I opened up my video editing school for the first time back in November of 2020, I had really only used Adobe software for my video editing needs. Through the process of recording my first 80 video lessons, I was reminded of all the issues that I have with Premiere Pro, main one being reliability. It was a common thing for major issues to arise deep into large projects, issues that would literally make me sick, especially when they came up right before a deadline. It was through this process that I first considered trying out the other options once I had launched the school. So later on, early 2021, I had tried out Final Cut for the first time. It had its little quirks that didn't make sense to me coming from Premiere Pro, but I was hooked on its reliability and performance. I couldn't believe how fast I could scrub through my timelines without having to make proxies and get real-time playback in my preview. The program would also crash far less than Premiere Pro, and when it did crash, which was rare, I had never actually lost any progress on any of my projects. Now, I love the fact that I was getting long, uninterrupted flow state work sessions in the program. It was just easier to create in. I was so used to running into issues all the time in Premiere Pro and then having to spend long periods of time troubleshooting, and that's the absolute worst thing when it comes to staying in a creative flow state. Now, Final Cut was cool, but I had heard a lot about DaVinci Resolve and how everyone was switching over to it for its advanced color grading capabilities. I had already been using the program for over 5 years, but really only to export my time lapses because it allowed me to work with raw CR2 photos. So once I got a taste of Final Cut, I decided to dive a little more into the world of DaVinci. After transferring my keyboard shortcut layout, I was able to start to flow in the program right away. It was just as fast and reliable as Final Cut, and I was starting to like it even more. Now, DaVinci's edit page has a very similar layout to both Final Cut and Premiere, but unlike Final Cut and Premiere, DaVinci also has two other very powerful softwares built in. It has Fusion, a node-based advanced compositing software similar to After Effects, and the Color Page, which is a designated node-based color grading workspace that is miles ahead of anything else out there right now. And it also has Fairlight, which is a designated audio workspace so capable you could master professional music from right within the program if you wanted to. Overall, DaVinci looked like an amusement park to me as an editor, and I had to dive deeper. And after a few months of playing with DaVinci Resolve, I was hooked. Once I understood the beauty of node-based editing, there was no going back. And now I can truly say that this is by far my favorite video editing software I've ever used. It's a beautifully thought out workspace that makes me feel more capable to do everything I need in one space. And it's a place I now truly enjoy spending lots of time in. And as an editor, that's really what's most important. And even during this time of learning and teaching, I've seen DaVinci push several updates that are all really good. They're a company that listens to its users and is willing to innovate. To me, it's clear that they are the ones leading the way in this space. So as a professional, why would I choose to use any other program? That's why I decided to make this course, because I know a lot of professionals out there still use Final Cut or Premiere Pro because it can be intimidating to switch softwares. But I can assure you that once you commit and learn the foundations, there's no going back. I put my heart and soul into this course, and now I genuinely believe that this is the best place to go to get an overall understanding of the entire program. Studying this program has now become one of my new passions, and I'm excited to continue learning and developing this course. Again, thank you so much for the support, and welcome to DaVinci Resolve.